What is going on, everybody? Boilon here, and welcome to another video on Lord of the Rings Home. Now, today, there's been some new news releases regarding the upcoming Gondor characters, with Faramir being first on the list, coming very soon, actually. In fact, coming, I think, later on this week, because we obviously have the one right now that's going to be ending tomorrow. And we also have a little bit of details regarding Raid Chapter 3 coming. Probably my guess is just not to put any expectations out there, but it does say about second or third week of September. I would probably say the latter, just to be sure. Obviously there's no specific dates, but they do make some hints in terms of what kind of characters might be good for this, and not. We're going to talk about Gondor in this video, but we'll be talking about a few other teams as well. So if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. All right, so there's two news postings that came this morning. One is the character kit reveal for Faramir, who is the captain of the Rangers of Ithilien, and so he does have the Ranger tag as well as the Gondor tag, so that's good. We'll talk about some of that as well. And Boromir probably next, and then Denethor will be sometime later in September. My guess as well. So here we go. We have Faramir, who is light, of course. Gondor's his main faction, but he also does have the Ranger tag as well. That being said, there's very loose kind of tie-ins there with that, at least as far as the kit goes. The whole Ranger tag itself is not super amazing, I think. I don't know how many people are actually leveling it. I don't normally mention characters like Miri anyways. And the fact that Halbrad is obviously a bit of a slow grind as far as shards go. Now, his basic ability is very basic. So at max, we're going to be talking about at max, because I think nowadays, with Guild Chapter 5, in terms of being able to farm purples, we do want to talk about that. So attack the target enemy for 190. During stealth, deal 230 instead. Okay, so it uses, a bit of a stealth mechanic here. His special ability 1, Ranger's Ambush, allows him to go into stealth, as you can see above here in the GIF, whatever the animation, and attack the target enemy for 270, inflict slow for 2 turns. So that's good. It's single target, unfortunately, but this could be really good for purposes like, say, the Cave Troll in Chapter 2, for example. Single target, kind of burst damage. Gain stealth for 1 turn. Now, Archers at the ready, his special 2. It's an AoE. You've probably seen this in game, actually. In fact, I don't think there's a lot of change, actually, between his kit for once, between the beta. I don't know if his special 1 actually has slow on it, but either way, there doesn't seem to be a huge change up in his kit from the beta. So he has an AoE, and it says ability at battle start is 1, and it costs 4. This sounds like it's like a turn 3 kind of ability, which is pretty late, honestly, but attacks all enemies for 240, and then if there's at least 1 dead Gondor ally, deal 340. Now, I don't like this part of the kit, I'll be honest. It does more damage, of course, if somebody's dead, but realistically, you don't want people to be dead, unless they, Denethor gets reworked to be able to revive someone. Like, you don't really want somebody to be dead. So that is what it is, and he gains stealth basically on both of his special skills. Now, his passive ability, Ranger of the White Tower. During stealth, assist each time a Gondor or Ranger ally attacks an enemy with a Bane. Now, this is very particular. Right, so there's no assists if they don't have a Bane. Now, I want to go out on a limb and probably say that there's a good chance that they will have a Bane, but, it doesn't do anything unless they do have a Bane and he has stealth. So, kind of a double, I wouldn't say RNG, but a double mechanic in terms of, being able to activate this. And then when an ally Boromir dies, gain 100% turn meter. So, that's fine, but I mean, they're basically saying that they want Boromir to die. Faramir will do extra damage when he dies, and so on and so forth. It's a nice lore call out, honestly, but in practicality, is that a good thing? Boromir is going to be the tank for the team. He does have, as far as his in-game beta version, that he was a tank, so I expect the same when he comes out after Faramir. And so they talk about this. There's some lore here, inspiration. The Faramir patrols the wild. Okay, so that's again more lore stuff. A lot of this is lore stuff. Strategy tips: when Faramir gains stealth with his abilities, he also dispels marked. Now, this is they're going to say that marked is an important thing for Raid Chapter 3, which we'll talk about in the next post. This is a key part of his kit to ensure success for Gondor in Chapter 3 of the Mines of Moria raid, where the orcs are going to put up marked on your character. So ways to cleanse or other ways to stealth is going to be very important on the chapter, allegedly. I say allegedly because, they've said a lot of things that hasn't really come true. For example, the Haradrim are mediocre at best, in my opinion, for Chapter 2, from what I've heard from people who have wailed and cracked out on them. So they were not actually the best team for Chapter 3, which they're suggesting is the case for Gondor, which we'll get to when we talk about Chapter 3. Faramir's ability, Ranger of the White Tower, allows him to assist not just Gondor allies, but also Rangers. Try him in various squad comps. So they're basically saying that, yeah, he might also be good in the Ranger team. But of course, that's only going to be good if you've been kind of leveling them up and shard farming other characters. Mainly Miri, because the other ones that are in the game obviously includes Strider, Elrohir, Miri, Halbarad, and I guess now Faramir is a fifth character. But that's, I really don't think that you want to take Elrohir out of the Rivendell team. Anyways, assuming you have Elrond. If you don't, maybe there's a good option here. Faramir's ability, Archers at the Ready, is empowered. If a Gondor ally has been killed, use Faramir's stealth ability to keep him out of danger. So, it basically says that, yeah, you want a Gondor ally to be dead. All right, so we have Faramir's adventure starting on September the 1st, which is going to be on Friday, and that's going to be running for a week's time, and then after that, it's probably going to be Boromir and Denethor later on. So that's the Gondor characters for just now. Mines of Moria Raid Chapter 3. This is a double hitter here today, because it says that it's going to be available mid to late September. I would probably take the latter. I think that's just easier, so we don't end up running into trouble. After a courageous, hard-fought battle with the Moria cave troll, they found themselves the heroes find themselves injured and exhausted. So we have to avoid the capture mechanic. Now, this sounds interesting, and I really hope this is not just a rehash of Chapter 1. I hope that it's unique enough that they've heard the feedback, that it's not, I'm honestly really fucking scared that I see a bomber here in the background suggesting that maybe there's going to be a damn bomber in Chapter 3, and there better not be. In fact, all of these look like the exact same orcs from Chapter 1. There's the drum guy, there's the hammer guy that I hate, the dagger guy, and the I don't know what the hell, the shadow seer and the other fire belcher in the back. These all look like the exact same goddamn orcs from Chapter 1, and I really hope that's just a photo of Chapter 1 and not Chapter 3. So, after receiving too many bomb blasts among their ranks, the orcs have sidelined the Moria bomber and have instead redirected their efforts. With each attack, they will attempt to mark and capture your squad, tenaciously, wittingly through. Oh my god, I don't like that. Too many ly words. I don't like that. You'll need to bring characters adept at taunting and healing. So this is kind of important to redirect the onslaught and to survive. So they do want tank characters. Now, I wonder if this will be like points for the longer that you last on the field. And that could be really interesting, which also suggests that Elves and the Rivendell team is going to be once again really good, because they're also going to have resistance, very high resistance, to be able to, resist the taunt mechanic or the mark mechanic. No squad is better suited for the task than the brave and proud people of Gondor. Now, I'm a little bit concerned about this because they've already put Gondor on a pedestal, basically saying that they are going to be the best team for this chapter, which they've already made the mistake of doing with Haradrim for Chapter 2. So either they've kind of learned their mistakes from Chapter 2 and they are in fact the best team, or they're just saying that once again and hope that nobody notices. So I'm not going to be spending on this team, but for those of who are, I will be keeping an eye on how they perform when Guild Raid Chapter 3 comes out. Through the leadership of Denethor II, the Gondor squad is able to gain immunity from the perilous banes inflicted by the orcs. With the help of his sons Boromir and Faramir, Gondor is stronger together, gaining extra block chance for each living Gondor ally. That's all we hear. So there's a few things that we kind of know. Immunity is a good thing. They say stealth is a good thing because that gets rid of the marked mechanic, and having higher resistance and healing. So it sounds like a little bit of a gauntlet fight with the additions of, having your characters potentially be captured through the mark mechanic. So I want to talk about some other characters that might be very good for this Guild Raid Chapter 3, which, you know, maybe I've talked about before about being generally good as well. So I'm going to go right out on a limb and say that Elrond and the Rivendell team is probably going to be extremely good for this, because not only do they have healing, they have tanking from Eladin, they have resistance mechanics. I believe, actually, in fact, it comes from Elrond that puts up fortitude. So yeah, if they don't have any Banes, then they will gain fortitude on their turn. So that's going to be really good as well, which is going to increase your resistance by 50%. Obviously, he's a legendary character, so I expect the Rivendell teams, honestly, they've been really good and very consistent across the board for all the raid chapters. So if you're going to put through any effort, honestly, with Elrond possibly coming back within a month or so, I think this is still probably worth, you know, getting ready for if you don't have him right now. So the Rivendell team is going to be very good for this. Secondly, though, I also want to talk about the dwarves. So they were recently released. We have the leader ability here as well, which does gain resistance across the board, especially, I know it's at higher level, but you can get like 10% resistance to all dwarves here at level 4. They also have some other mechanics that cleanses Banes, gives defenses, which is basically guaranteed block, and they do have more mechanics, especially with Feely and Killy, to gain resistance as well. Fortitude, in fact, if I can find the healer, not Feely, Keely. Where's Keely? Or no, sorry, I was looking for Feely. So Feely's abilities, especially on his passive, is it his passive? It gives block chance, more block chance as well, which is really nice, but I think it's his heal. So grant fortitude for 1 turn to all Thorin's company squad members. This goes to 2 turns of fortitude at level 4, so this is pretty good. And then at level 6, it grants fortitude to all dwarf squad members, regardless of their affiliation to Thorin's company. So I think that Feely, Killy, possibly Gimli and Fro, and the leader, of course, will be really good for Chapter 3. I've actually been shard farming them anyways every single day, so hopefully I might be able to utilize them for Chapter 3 rather than Gondor, because obviously I'm not going to be spending on this. There might be some other teams as well, especially as much as I like to shit on them. Return to Rivendell has stealth mechanics, so this could be really good in at least avoiding the marked mechanic. In terms of how good that they are writ large, it's hard to say, but I know that there's people probably going to be commenting down below about how I'm probably neglecting Road to Rivendell, but it is what it is there. And that was just something that kind of popped out at me to me. I don't know if goblins or any of the other teams would actually function all that well. Eowyn could do some cleansing, of course. Otherwise, let me know. For those of you who have built some of these other odd teams, let me know if there's any other standouts when you think of these mechanics. When you think of Chapter 3, what do you think of? Because basically, we want characters that they can stealth, they can taunt and heal, and they have high resistance. That basically is what it sounds like we're looking for Guild Raid Chapter 3. Otherwise, I really hope that this has nothing to do with that, because I am scared because there's a bomber in that photo. I don't want a rehash of Chapter 1 in any stretch of the imagination. I want it completely unique and not an RNG fiesta. So that's going to be the end of this video, everyone. Happy Monday, and let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are on Guild Raid Chapter 3, and or if you're going to be whaling and splashing some cash on the Gondor team. So that's going to be it, and until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon, signing out.